Hi everyone, it is Jen here at LGTV News, and it is the week of the Wildomar Market, which means Darla Dunn is taking over and bringing with us interviews with some of her awesome vendors that are going to be here this weekend. So, without further ado, I'm going to let her introduce you to our next guest. Darla, take it away.
Thank you, Jennifer, and I am so excited and delighted to bring to you a very refreshing vendor that is now joining us at the Wildomar Market. This is Jessie James with the Potion Pub, and she joins me today to talk a little bit about the alchemy drinks that she makes and some other stuff that she does. So tell me about the Potion Pub, Jessie.
Sure. I spent 11, maybe 12 years as a bartender. And I started it right at 21 because I was really interested in the social aspect of it because I've always been a social butterfly. Throughout my time bartending, I always knew that I wanted my own bar, but I never knew how it would manifest itself. I've also always had a love for eating clean and living well. And it was 2020 that came around and I noticed the shift, obviously bars shut down. And so when they reopened and I returned to work as a bartender, there were so many people who had quit drinking in the pandemic but were so happy to come back to bars because that was a part of their everyday life. Yeah. And I had a customer in particular who came in and drank a tall can of Coors Light every time he came in, and so as soon as I would see him at the door, I would get his beer and put it in his spot. One day he comes in, he's like, "Oh no, I can't drink anymore," and my doctor said even a sip could kill me. He's like, "I'm just here to see everybody." And slowly I watched him shift from a water to a soda. "Oh, I'll just have one beer." And I told him, "I'm not serving you. You can come in on anyone else's shift, but you already told me what it is. I don't want to have to explain that to your wife." Right. Nope. And I had been sitting with the idea of this is the time for me to make my move. And so all things combined, I decided that it's time for me to create something that creates the same social aspect of a bar, but takes away the alcohol so that there is no impairment. I like to say shaken, not slurred, where you can come socialize. If you want to come every day, you come every day, and you hang out and you drink and you have back-to-back drinks, and you get to drive home safely and get back to your family safely if you're not with your family. So that was my inspiration behind starting it all. I love the alchemy of creating drinks and mixing things. I can never just be content with here's some juice. I always want to add something to it. And so, yeah, that is really the start of it all.
And so some of your drinks, especially the mocktails and stuff, you're using herbs that are very beneficial and rewarding. Yes. And have some probably even euphoric effects too. Yeah. Because we know that some herbs can do that. And yeah. Definitely loosen you up or relax you and stuff like that. Can you tell me about any of the drinks that you a favorite drink of yours that you like to serve?
Yesterday I was at an event and I actually really love playing with a couple of different herbs. One is called, and I might be butchering the pronunciation of this, lapsang. I'm not even gonna try the second word. But it's a Chinese black tea, and it has a naturally smoky aroma and effect. Okay. So I use that as a whiskey base. Sure. And black tea, if you don't know, has the highest caffeine content, so naturally you're going to feel that buzz from the caffeine.
Stimulating.
Yeah, but also it's great for aiding in digestion and debloating. So it's really cool to work with that herb because when someone picks up a drink that has it, you can smell it smells like whiskey. But interestingly enough, you take that same herb and you brew it and you add a little bit of molasses, vanilla, cinnamon, clove. It now takes on the flavor profile of a spiced rum. Yeah. And so I had two drinks at my event yesterday. One was a whiskey sour and the other one was a mojito. And I was using that as the base. But the third drink I had yesterday was juniper berry. And if you don't know, juniper berry is what gin is distilled from. Correct. So I just take the berries, they're dried, I crush them up, and I let them sit overnight at minimum, usually 24 to 48 hours in some water in my fridge. So it's called a decoction that way. And I strain it and use it as a base for gin.
Yeah.
So that also has the same, it smells exactly like gin. It's just not the fermented alcoholic taste of it.
Version of it.
So those are some of my favorite things to work with, but like on a day-to-day basis, I love just some lemon balm. It helps me to relax at the end of the night. And so I'm very intentional about the menus that I create for every event that I'm at. Because I want to
you make a lot of your syrups, right?
I make all of them, yeah. I make everything from scratch. I don't use, I'm very particular, I don't use like citric acid, natural flavors. If anything that I'm buying has any ingredients I don't agree with, I will not use it. I don't cut corners. It's just really important to me. If I wouldn't consume it, I'm not going to sell it. It's not, I'm people over profit, not profit over people. So that's really important to me.
I love that. So you're going to be bringing drinks to the Wildomar Market this Sunday, June 7th, but you do some other stuff outside of doing drinks.
I do, yes.
You want to tell me a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah. So aside from the drinks, I also create different tallow-based skincare products. I also create, like, I guess it's still in the realm of drinks, but I create like an herbal lemonade mix, which isn't like an instant lemonade. You have to let it sit for at least 30 minutes and then strain it so the herbs are extracted. I just released a new product where it is a mock of Kool-Aid, called a throwback tonic, and the artwork on the label looks like the Kool-Aid Man, but just my version of it. That one's a really good one, and in that drink I use malic acid, which is actually something that is created as a chemical, however, or there's a chemical version of it, that's what I'm trying to say. But if you search hard enough, malic acid itself is derived from green apples. So I use malic acid, it's called L-malic acid, and that is derived from green apples. So just want to make that announcement if you see it. Like if you see malic acid, it is not the chemical version, it is straight from green apples.
The medicinal version.
Yes, it took me some time to find it, and it was not cheap, but fortunately I don't need a ton of it, so it should last me some time. And then I also do different tea blends, different coffee mixes. I've also got a home-based cafe coming up in the works. I'm cleared on all the legalities that I gotta do, but now it's the cosmetic side that I'm working on.
Perfect.
And that will be here in Wildomar as well. So I run like a full-blown apothecary, that's what I call it. Like everything that's old world that is ancestral, that we used to practice to help heal, I do that. So I make like different tinctures and herbal remedies, and just wellness is my wheelhouse. That's what I like to say.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's exciting. So you are here in Wildomar.
Yes.
You're a Wildomar-based business. And how long have you been in Wildomar?
I've been in Wildomar now for 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Wildomar getting its own market?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I first moved to Wildomar, like I was in Temecula, so it's not like I was far, right? But like I knew Wildomar, I didn't know much of it until I moved over here. And I was like, oh, this is so cool because you're like away from everything but close enough, because born and raised Southern California, so of course I'm used to having amenities local. And now that Wildomar has a market, like I've been waiting for that, like because everything is like, oh, it's Marietta, it's Temecula, it's Menifee, it's this, it's that, and nothing's been local. Even like Elsinore had something for a little bit that didn't stick. So like it's really nice to just be in Wildomar proper and be like, that's so close, like and not have to really travel anywhere.
So you started out wanting to start a bar of your own, and now you are kind of like a non-alcoholic mobile bar service. And you do parties and stuff and events, like private events. Do you still want to go brick and mortar, or you like doing the events?
No, I definitely want to do brick and mortar. That has been the end goal. I love doing events. I love when I get to do like a private event. I am phasing more out of like the less consistent vendor opportunities. I like things like this where like it's a market you can count on every so often versus like a one-off here and there.
Right.
Although those do have their time to shine. But I definitely am looking forward to the brick and mortar space that I'll be doing on my property, because that is something that I want to be able to serve everyone almost whenever they want. I'm not going to be open 24/7, but like.
And so that's going to happen here in Wildomar. That's the goal. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing a little bit about the Potion Pub. I know there's a lot of work that goes behind it.
Yeah.
And
it's
so-
just me doing it all. It's just me and my 2 hands. So I keep myself busy.
And you have your little
sure.
supporters back here.
Yeah.
Maybe here.
Yeah.
You've got some little people back here. So obviously, like you're a mom, and this helps. Like doing these events and stuff help with supporting you and,
Yeah.
and raising your kids and stuff like that. It's a
Yeah.
great opportunity. So.
It's amazing. I love being able to do something where I'm not constantly like, you know, seeking childcare, and my kids can come with me and they can watch me, and I can hopefully, you know, be an inspiration to them to like whatever their dream is, follow it. Not follow my footsteps, but follow the fact that I had a dream and I
Your
finished
passions,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your passions.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Thank you so much, Jessie.
Of course, thank you, Darla.
All right, guys, you can catch her this weekend, this Sunday, 3 to 7, June 7th, and then I believe you're coming back for the July market as well. Yeah. So you guys can get a delightfully lovely botanical refreshment from Jessie at the market. I know I will be drinking you up. I think Wildomar is going to just absolutely love you. So thanks again, and join us next time.